So I'm sure you've heard the reports recently about the AstraZeneca vaccine that somehow or another the report, and this is a drug manufacturer over in the UK, that they were touting a couple of weeks ago that the drug had a 79% efficacy effect, of preventing the disease of COVID-19 and protecting you, et cetera, et cetera. And that is not as high as some of the others, but most drugs that are used as vaccines only rein in at about 60 to 70%. And they've been effective over the years, including measles, polio, and all those kinds of drugs as vaccinations as well. And so for the AstraZeneca drug to come in at 79%, of course, Johnson & Johnson says they've come in at 95%. Pfizer and Moderna all have said they've all come in at about 90% efficacy as well. So 79% was a bit low, but, any hat in the ring will do. But now reports are being issued, and I'm sure you've heard them, that the AstraZeneca people fibbed or flipped or misinformed the public on the data of the efficacy of the drug and as to whether or not the drug was 79% as said, or whether there were other issues related to the AstraZeneca drug. A week ago, there were, over in the UK, a large number of people were saying that after being vaccinated, with the AstraZeneca drug, that a lot of people were experiencing blood clots, which could lead to some very dangerous health conditions. They kind of wiped that away and said, well, a lot of people had blood clots who had also had received the vaccine, but the two were not connected. You believe that if you want, but that's what they said, and they kind of swept that under the rug. Well, 2 days after they finally tried to put out that fire, another fire arose stating that they misrepresented the data, giving all of the data regarding the AstraZeneca drug, and they weren't truthful nor forthcoming about the AstraZeneca drug. That's a whole mouthful for anybody to say. And now they're trying to put out that fire. They even had Dr. Fauci, who was the director of the National Institute of Health and who's become Joe Biden, Biden's health advisor, saying, well, it was a simple, error. It was an unforced error. It was something that it really didn't make any difference. They just slipped up and didn't do the right thing. But no fear, Dr. Fauci, I think, is saying, take it anyway. Really? Really? They made a mistake on the reporting. Seemed to me they're capable of making a mistake on the manufacturing of drugs. I've had my suspicion about these drugs all along, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson. I just don't know. Here's my thing. My thing is this. Heretofore, most of these vaccines, whether it be polio or measles or malaria or smallpox, usually takes about 10 years, not just to develop, but to demonstrate all of the side effects, because drugs have side effects. Even aspirins have side effects, So in order to determine the length and breadth of those side effects, it has taken several years. So, they say, well, it will prevent you from getting COVID-19 and having to go to the hospital and die. That might be true. That might be true. It very well may be true. My concern is that, I said I wasn't going to take it, and I've advised other people to do likewise, because we just don't know the effect of it. And now we're getting reports that AstraZeneca didn't tell us the truth. Well, who the hell else didn't tell us the truth? Maybe Johnson & Johnson haven't told us the truth. Maybe Frank Johnson. You know Frank Johnson? Anybody know Frank Johnson? I know Frank Johnson. Yeah. Maybe Frank Johnson and his brother Ralph Johnson didn't tell us the truth. Snag a tooth. Anyway, so now there have been, so far during the last year, here in America, 543,840 people have died as a result of the coronavirus. That's a lot, 500,000 people. Now, that's the number that the Center for Disease, Johns Hopkins University is reporting. But the numbers are far larger than that. But that's over 500,000 people. The numbers are slowing down, the people, by the way. But that's still 500,000 people in the last year. That's a lot of people that have died, and the deaths are related to the COVID-19. You know, people who just didn't want to die just died. And young and old people alike. I mean, a lot of the senior citizens have died, yes, but a lot of young people have died as well. People unsuspecting of death died. And there's been 29,923,370 cases that have been reported here in the U.S. Now, the population of America is about 330 million. So of the 330 million, 30 million of those people have reported, the 30 million people have reported that they have coronavirus. Now, a lot of doctors, Dr. Fauci has also stated, and some of the other predominant doctors, Dr. Alzheimer, rather than a bunch of others, have stated that as many as potentially as 83 million people have had COVID-19 and have overcome it, survived it, and now they have antibodies and potentially they are immune. That's possibly true. You know, that's possibly true that, you know, that some 83 million people that, you know, they had it and it's gone. But now they're saying, and since Joe Biden, my time, now become president, he has vaccinated, at least the total number of people that have been vaccinated is up to 128,217,029 people to this moment have been vaccinated. That's a lot of people. That's a third of the entire American population. You got another 200 million to go, and you got everybody. But of those 200 million, 83 million have already had the disease, so they're somewhat immune in terms of reaching that herd immunity type of thing they keep talking about, if you know what that's all about. But this business of AstraZeneca now it is all over the news everywhere that these people didn't tell us the truth about that drug. I understand I could possibly get COVID-19. I ain't gonna get it, but all things are possible. But I ain't gonna get it. All things are possible. But I'm not gonna get it. But I ain't gonna take that shot either. That's just how that is. This is symbolic. It's where Jesus was baptized. It's where John baptized, and so this is not a rebaptism. It's just a symbolic, if you will, act of what we're going to do, being in the water at the place where Jesus was baptized. And what I'd like to do is to baptize today that we would come to terms with the understanding of what God is calling for in righteousness. He's not calling for prosperity. He isn't calling for culturalism. God is calling for righteousness. If we would commit ourselves to fulfill all righteousness. And God has called us to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, as John was persecuted for righteousness, and so Jesus. I got to tell you that I'll never forget this experience of actually stepping in the water where Jesus were baptized, and where John has baptized so many people. This is such a historic and a powerful, powerful sight. Just to touch the water was so critical. And I'm glad that people got baptized to have that experience. It was a safe experience and a great experience. I'm not even going to change my clothes. I want to just stay in baptism mode until I get back to the hotel. So that's what I want to say. All right.
This has been live from the Jordan River. God bless you all. Peace.
That's nice. Got everybody. Righteousness. Boom, chakalaka goes right there.
My mother started liking the school and let me come here every single year. It has been 5 years and now I'm in the 7th grade. I still love the school. It has taught me a lot of things about the world and all around it, and let me see things I've never seen before, like me participating in the history fair last year. I would like to give thanks to all my classmates for making me feel comfortable and at home here. Please, to all the new and old parents in the school, don't take your kids out of the school because it will probably probably be the biggest mistake you've ever made. No matter what type of child you have, this school will shape it into a world leader. So do yourselves a favor. Oh my goodness. Okay. So do yourselves a favor and keep your kids here till they graduate, and it will change yours and your child's life. Peace and blessings.
Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools. And a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said to her, well, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that? To pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back, and then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.